Alright, so I figured while I'm doing all this, I might as well tell you roughly everything that we're going to be using for our setup. Sorry. I can get my finger out the way. Alright, so a lot of things are somewhat name brand. Other things are off market. Off market meaning not not like foreign or anything, but they are going to be, well, generic. Possibly something popular in another country, not necessarily mainstream here in the States, stuff like that. So let's start with my hard drives. Standard hard drives we get here, Western Digital, A-Data, and Seagate. I have a 250 gig Seagate here. This was my previous hard drive in my computer that recently died. I'm using a Nexar 3 USB 3.0 external hard drive enclosure. This is a 3.5 external hard drive enclosure. Works awesome, to be honest with you. Only problem I have is the construction of it. It's, I believe, an aluminum housing. And mine, for some reason, didn't come with the proprietary screws. And also, there's a little plug right here. I can't see, which, if I can't see, you can't see. A little proprietary plug here. As you can see, it is chewed all to hell. And that's for the design of the way that this little plug plugs in. That's why I thought it was mainly for laptop hard drives, the smaller hard drives, or even solid state drives. But solid state drives are pretty robust. You have to do a lot in order to damage those. Because there's no moving parts. It's already becoming an annoyance. But the way you have to do this is you're literally dragging this cord you're dragging the housing that, the drive itself and the metal tray that the drive sits on. It's slicing through that cable. And eventually I know I'm going to have a short on that cable. And the other annoyance is that this cable has a positive and a negative, but they don't tell you which side's positive, which side's negative, unless you have some sort of, electrical knowledge that, red's positive, white's negative. Sometimes that's not the case. So, I did it again. Alright, so I'm going to get my LED flashlight here to illuminate the case. This is my mini ATX board. I was going to go with a full board, but I was worried about power. So, that's why I went with an ASRock H97M Anniversary Edition mini ATX board. And this is going to run an Intel CPU. I have an extra Intel CPU. Worst case scenario. The problem is I don't know if that works. So to avoid any guesswork as if it works or not, I want to try and get another CPU. Because the last thing I want is to go and get that, use that CPU and it fries my motherboard. So that's what we're going to do to avoid that. And like I said, when we're done, I'm going to have a complete spec sheet on the awesome build video that we're going to do when I go and finally put everything together. Generic, standard, I believe it's Sony CD drive, CD DVD drive. I have 3 terabytes altogether. I have 1 2 terabyte and 1 terabyte hard drive, and I believe it was a 60 gig. Wish it was 600. 60 gig. 64 gig. Yeah, 64 gig SSD in there strictly for the OS alone. The video card, I can't remember off the top of my head, so give me a few seconds and we'll go from there. Okay, sorry about that. It is an EVGA NVIDIA GeForce, if I can get it into frame, 8400 GS series, 1 gig DDR3 2.0. So yeah, here's a better picture of it, as better as it's going to get, considering the quality of the iPad camera. Actual heatsink art and card may vary, but I believe that's exactly what I got. Anyway, so yeah. So that's that. You can probably see the heatsink over there. I went, overkill on this. As far as the heatsink is concerned, because that's what the main thing I believe is what was killing my last PC was heating and cooling. It's a little beat up. I got a Corsair H50 Hydro series, small block radiator, cooling, liquid cooling. It's a completely contained unit, so I don't have to worry about any replacement of fluids or anything. I might eventually have to worry about eventual leakage and stuff, but it hasn't been used yet. So we'll see how things go. But like I was saying, this was the thing I was worried about was power. This is why I wanted to get a bigger power supply. It's compatible with Intel OGA 1150, 1155, 1156, and 1366 processors. This thing can do Celerons, Pentiums, Core i5, 3, 5, and 7, Sandy Bridge, and Ivy Bridge. But the main thing is I was looking for was power statistics, and I still can't find anything on power, which was weird. So I'm guessing it doesn't use a lot of power. If it does, I'm in trouble because I only have 430 watt CTX Corsair CTX series, like you saw earlier in the video. So that's that. So I did it again. So I have the CD DVD drive to run. I have 3 hard drives to run. I have 3 hard drives to run and 3 fans to run. 2 fans can run directly off of power from the power supply itself, so I don't have to worry about that too much. Or I can plug them into the motherboard and use the fan headers on the board. So I have my options, except for when it comes to the CPU cooler, because the pump and the fan for the rad are strictly fan headers on the board, and I only have 2 fan headers. I guess this was strictly my fault. I thought I would have more fan headers, but then I remembered I had a micro ATX board. And then even though some full-size boards still only have a limited amount of fan headers, so I don't know what we're going to do. So I'm hoping that, I'll do a little at a time, plugging things in, and then I can go from there, because, that would be really nice if I can plug everything. Oh God, sorry for the shaky cam. It'd be really nice if I could plug everything, these two onto the fan headers on the motherboard, and then plug the fans directly into the power supply. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to go with a cheaper CPU. Depends on how things are going to go. But this is a lot for a 430 watt power supply to power. This is why I wanted to try and go 550 at the least, but I could pass up the power supply for $42. We'll see how this works. If I start having issues, then we'll bump it up. But the main thing is, I want to break everything down, put everything away for now, because it's just sitting there collecting dust, and dust is the most corrosive thing that can ever hit electronics. As you can see, it's already starting to get a little dusty on the inside there. So I want to clean everything up, put it away for now, because I thought, we'll get it in, built, and ready to go within a few months, and that's not the case. Because I thought, okay, maybe, sorry about that. I thought, okay, maybe, I'll have a little 9-to-5, or I'll get a CAD job here or there, a little freelance job here or there, something, and nothing's giving. Not waiting on YouTube, because that's going to take a while, so, that's the main thoughts you don't want to have. I did have those thoughts at the beginning, and then they started creeping back in my head. Oh, wow, if I want to start making money on YouTube, I got to start pumping out more videos. Well, that's not the case, especially when, majority of my videos I don't monetize, because most of the time they're just me rambling. So, yeah. And I did have a couple friends and family members say, well, go do that Patreon route. They have a couple, companies that they know of, and friends and stuff who do different things that use Patreon for other means other than YouTube. But, I don't want to e-bag just yet. So we'll see. But the beautiful creature, the blue fox, the blue demon fox, whichever you prefer to call it. Yes, the Cthulhu power supply, the flying power supply spaghetti monster is back in the box for now. I'm going to do some mock-ups, see how things are going to fit together and where they're going to go, and then we'll go from there. But I am hoping that I can get the power supply on the bottom. If not, then I'm going to have to flip this fan around, because the cooling fan for the power supply is on the bottom, and it will be blowing directly down onto the CPU and the video card. Whereas I I can get the power supply fan to point directly down onto the through this vent here, and I believe I can mount it there too if it's the screw placement is perfect enough, and I don't have to worry about it. But if that's not the case, then I'm going to have to work some things out with the rad, because I really did want the rad there, but if it's not going to work, then I have to put it there, and then I have to move some fans around, and it's slowly becoming a nightmare as far as cable management is concerned, and that's the main thing that I didn't have the room for in the last PC was cable management. There were cables blocking airflow, and things were getting hot when they shouldn't have been, and it was just a nightmare. And this was a unit that was literally right by an AC in the summertime. It was by we have central air in our house, and it was right by the vent, and our room gets nice and cold in the summertime. When the conditions are right, it gets nice and cold in our room. It's even a little chilly in our room now. It's middle of winter. Tiny chill. Nothing concerning. But, yeah. So, in the summertime, our room can get blistering hot, but I do have fans and stuff on, so I don't know. I'm assuming it was a power issue the first time, and then after that, the first time, the first PC that I ordered from Tiger Direct, that thing, the hard drive was no good. Sent it back, and then hard drive and power issues, the heating issues, I should say, because the power supply was working perfectly fine. It was the hard drive, and I believe one of the caps blew on the motherboard, and then I noticed some of the connectors, which were directly in line with the heatsink and all that for the CPU, melted, and then the shroud that covered the heatsink and the fan and all that was melted. Not awesome, not cool. Shouldn't have melted like that. So, yeah, there was some heating issues going on in that. So, yeah, I don't know what was going on there. And you guys know I am a stickler when it comes to keeping things clean. I even go as far as cleaning up my PlayStation, which that is due for cleaning. When I first got my new PlayStation that I use now, I cleaned it out. I gutted it, cleaned it, took off the old thermal paste, put new thermal paste on for the CPUs. I made sure it was clean, and it hasn't needed serviced for, I think, 6 months now. It's just starting to get hot now, and I even have, I'll show you guys real quick. The joys of being me. And move. I even have, that shouldn't be there. Envelopes! What do I need those for? I even have, a little shroud in the back that I kick on when it starts to get hot. So, yeah. That's the previous shroud for the old CPU, the first one. And PC fan. Whenever I get that hot, whenever it gets hot, I feel it and touch it. You're a little warm, kick that fan on, problem solved. But it is getting hot now, so it's time to get cleaned. Alright guys, I'm going to go. Give me 1 second. Alright guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to go clean up this mess, fix the CPU, PC, oh god. I'm going to go fix up the PC, see where I'm going to put this power supply at, burn it, etch it into my memory, and then start putting things away. I'm going to keep the I/O shield on there. I don't know if I'm going to put the hard drives and stuff back, but we'll see. And then when I finally get all the parts, there will be a complete build video, and it won't be shaky. I'm sorry, I'm just having one of those days. head is killing me, and I can't really focus on things. As you saw, I was, rambling, mumbling, and blocking the camera, which I normally don't do. Oh, anyway. I don't know. I think I should go shave. Not this. No. This is staying. This is my, evil villain chin stroking beard. No, Mr. Bond. I want you to die. Anyway, I will check you guys later in the next one. Peace out. Huh.